Well, hello, welcome to the show. It is August the 16th. We're getting through summer. We'll soon be winter, soon be Christmas. Welcome to the show, episode 228. I hope that you're all well. I hope you've had a fairly decent week. And welcome back to the show. If you're watching for the first time, where the hell have you been? But welcome anyway, and thank you for your patronage. We've got 2 hours of the usual testiculation and guffawing about the world of synthesizers and related topics, and we'll be getting to all of those shortly. But before we do, of course, we have to start the show with the housekeeping, and that is to let you know that you can give us a like, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whichever you feel is warranted. If you want to comment throughout or even during the show, you can do so through the YouTube chat or the Twitch chat or the Facebook chat, because we get to see all of those and we can respond to all of those. So if you're watching on any of those platforms, welcome. Just to let you know, we did already stop broadcasting on Twitter a few weeks ago because they wanted us to pay for that, and we have actually now taken the action of just we've abandoned Twitter. The account is still there, but it's inactive, and we won't be using that platform for the foreseeable. So if you follow us on Twitter, you won't see anything from us there, but you can come follow us on Threads, because we're over on Threads if you want to do that sort of thing. But Facebook is generally the place to congregate. Of course, you can also become members of Patreon and YouTube, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But also, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube. If you hit that button, you'll be informed of every time we drop a piece of content, whether it's a live show or whether it's one of the PSN shorts that we've been doing. There'll be something new for our regular YouTube subscribers to see. I think on Sunday, that's when I set the time. So yeah, I'll talk about that in just a moment. And of course, share us around to anybody that you think might enjoy this kind of thing. Talking of supporting us, which I wasn't, but I am now, you can do so at patreon.com. That's fast becoming the most popular way that you guys and girls are supporting us to do this. We do this all completely free of charge. You don't have to, but if you want to help us cover the costs of running a weekly YouTube show and all of that entails, you can do so by subscribing to us over at Patreon. And there it is in all its glory, the Patreon page, which is currently headed up by him. Look at that. He's doing an ELZ1 unboxing, and that, ladies and germs, is currently an exclusive on Patreon. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you've already been able to watch Andrew go through the whole rigmarole of unboxing his ELZ1. And then we've also posted Andy playing with himself outdoors, which he's wont to do, and also an ambient loop construction that he did. So those videos are available across all of our platforms, but some of them are exclusive. We've also got the Pro Synth Network short video. So I did a whole bunch of stuff on the Polybrute 12. These are not exclusive to Patreon, but they are completely ad-free. So if you don't like the ads on YouTube, you can come and watch them on here if you subscribe to us on Patreon. We've also got loads of things like Super Booth walkabouts. We've got presets for the Cherry Audio synths, the Chroma. We've got Modal Cobalt 8 patches courtesy of James Dyson, and some other stuff for Cherry Audio. We've even got patches for the Roland JDXA, courtesy of Mark Barnes, and also some Hydrasynth sounds from Mark Barnes as well, who's got some new Modwave stuff, I believe, just released. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff which you can get if you become a Patreon subscriber for a minimum of $2 a month. And you can also subscribe to us as a YouTube member for the same minimal fee of a minimum of $2 a month, and you'll get all of that content as well. So we send you all of the free patches and the access to the free video, the exclusive access to the video. So you can support us there. That's all very well and good. Thank you very much. And you can also follow us, like I said before, on all of the following social media networks that you can see just scrolling at the bottom of your screen there. And of course, you'll notice that Twitter, or X, or whatever Space Incel wants to call it this week, is no longer there because we don't want to be on that platform. So there you go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all except for me to say, if you have a question throughout the show, you can stick a big capital Q in front of it. It just helps us pick it out and put it into the pot that we can then come back to a little bit later on. And I think that's all the housekeeping done. I want to say a massive thank you, as always, to the moderators that we have in the chat. We have Andrew Brooks, we have Andy Synth Addict, and we also have Ben from Musings that will moderate the chat for us, and they will be throwing the links up to the things that we talk about. So if you want to click on those, bookmark them for a later date, you can do so. So hi to everyone that's in the chat. I'm not going to go through all your names because there's loads of you in there, but we love you and thank you for coming. And if you're watching us on catch up, thank you for coming back. And you can donate to us if you want to by clicking the thanks button that's kind of about maybe there on YouTube, and you can do that if you want to, but you don't have to. You're not obligated. Let's bring in our resident hosts. They are, I don't know, synthesizer antiquity embodied, I would say. They smell of burnt capacitors and flux and fingertips that are singed from holding a soldering iron too long. Yes, I'm looking at you, Spong. How are you, sir?
I'm okay, and that's not how you clean them. That's not how you clean the Moog 55.
Well, I wasn't sure if that was the one that you'd worked on, the Pete Townsend one, but
well, I think it was. I think personally, I think it was taking the piss. You know, cleaning the Pete Townsend's Moog 55. He was dusting it.
Yeah, it was a bit of pledge and a yellow duster, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't clean a 55 like that. Good God, sir, what is the matter with you? Yes, that's it. That's my rant for the
That's
evening.
it. There you go. He's done. Thank
or
you.
Is it?
Oh, mm-hmm. Anyway,
yes.
Are you well? Yes. I mean, obviously, we only spoke less than 24 hours ago, but
yes, perpendicular as
good.
per. Well, actually, I am perfectly perpendicular as opposed to the beginning of the week. I'd done my backing. So yeah, all good, all good.
Excellent stuff.
Alive and kicking.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Good to hear. I did get a message actually before we came on air from, and I'm really sorry, I forget the name. I will try and find them. I got a message saying, can we please get all the important stuff done by 8 p.m. because the Premier League season kicks off at 8 o'clock. I think Man City are at home to Fulham in the first game of the Premier League. We'll do our best, but I can't promise anything. I'm not really interested because my team's not in that league anymore. Anyway, talking of a different league, we go now to the lower divisions and we meet Andrew Longhurst. How are you? That was a great off-the-cuff segue, that wasn't it?
Lower netball, possibly. Lacrosse.
At the base of the football pyramid.
Yeah.
Underneath all those men.
Throughout the Olympics, I found I was an expert on every single sport within 3 microseconds, probably picoseconds, actually. So yeah, no, I'm here. I'm getting ready to. I'm journeying tomorrow up to Glasgow and
oh yes,
that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't go into that one. But yeah, I'm here. I've had an interesting week looking at that thing.
Oh yes, the Ambient Zero. Yeah.
And various other things. So yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Good, excellent. Could you give us a bit more gain on your microphone, please? Because you're a little quiet. Yeah, I think that'll do.
What's that remind me of?
Is that better?
Yeah, I think so. What does that remind you of? I don't know, Ken.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what does that?
Just had an image popped into my head.
An exhaust pipe of some kind?
It could have been. Could have been.
I'd knocked the main fader. Is that better?
Go. There we go. I think that'll do. That'll do nicely.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay. So we have a show. We've got just under a couple of hours to do. Before we do anything else, though, it would be remiss of us if we didn't mention something that happened within our community at the beginning of the week, and as has been widely reported already, but it's now our opportunity to mention it. We lost one of our own. Very sad circumstances at the beginning of the week. Lisa Benyon, who many of you will probably know as Inky the Cat, sadly passed away. I believe it was on Sunday. I think news was reported around Monday. And Lisa was a big part of this community and had been for many, many years. Her name would pop up in pretty much every synthesizer related live stream or chat or whatever. And she was around on Facebook in our group and other places as well. She had a huge number of admirers and friends and colleagues, and she was well respected, particularly in the hardware jams community, where she was a bit of a force of nature. And it's just really, really sad when we lose one of our own. But I think what has been demonstrated over the last few days is when we lose one of us, we do kind of we all stand up and acknowledge that person's impact and influence wherever it might have been. And so everyone here at Pro Synth Network, which is basically us three, we send all of our love and condolences to Lisa's family, first and foremost, her daughter as well, but also to all of her friends and the people that she was close to. And it's a very sad time. Guys, have you got anything that you'd like to add?
Shall I?
Go for it.
So I didn't know Lisa that well, alas. And however, I did meet her first of all when she and others asked me to do a video for Dom just before he passed, sort of a tribute to him. And her passion was very evident then, and I've also seen her on, heard her on several of the pubs, and people. I mean, what's really clear is so many people from so many different walks of our community, so many different parts of our community have expressed such loss for someone that seems to have been a very bright, shining, energetic contributor to everything. So, my heart goes out to all of you. It's always shocking when we lose one of our own. I wish I'd known her better, but there we go. And I'm just my hat's off to all of you, by the way, for all of your tributes. I think she will be looking down, and I think she will be having a big smile and throwing a great big virtual hug around all of you. So my love to you all.
Thank you, Andrew. Kent, have you got anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, no, she was a force of nature, that one. She was a massive pain in my ass. She really was, bless her. When she would phone me at 3:20 in the morning to tell me, okay, you can't do a pub on a Monday. What? That's Hardware Jams night. Oh yeah, shit, I forgot about that. Sorry, darling. Yeah, you won't do it again. No, I won't do it again. Honestly, hand on heart, I won't do it again. So, because she, man, the hardware stuff. Mate, she was just so into it, wasn't she?
Yeah,
so enthusiastic about everything. It was fantastic.
And that's the sort of thing that is very infectious.
And constantly going, when are you going to do a hardware jam? Do a hardware jam. Come on, do a hardware jam. Okay, I'm really, really not very good at playing multiple instruments at once. And I didn't really have the right kind of gear, I suppose. But she was the reason I bought the MPC-X and stuff, and bits and pieces like that. And she goes, so when are you going to do a hardware? I will. And you get the regrets of never actually getting around to doing the hardware jam before I lost her. And it's a constant painful reminder to me now that I didn't get off my fat keister and go and do something about it.
I mean, you still do it.
I know, but it would have been better so that she could hear it and then hear how bad it is and go, yeah, no, you're all right. You're cool. You're all right where you are.
Wish I hadn't bothered you.
Yeah. Sorry, I won't press that anymore.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks guys for your contribution to. There's a ton of messages in the chat, and I hope that those of you that were especially close have drawn some comfort from the community rallying round and expressing their thoughts and feelings at this very sad time.
And isn't it funny that, I mean, not funny, but it's kind of heartwarming that when things like this happen, you see the community gathering round and providing support for each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real measure of this community we have.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how glad I am to be a part of it, to
Yeah.
have found it and to be a part of it.
Yeah, that is the one thing about this group of people who are all over the world, of different races, creeds, colours, beliefs, religions, whatever it might be, that we are together. We are better for us being part of a group, and at times like this, that is important. So rest in peace, Inky. Lisa, thank you for everything that you've done, and let's just have a couple of moments of silence. Okay, let's try and let's just try and move on, and let's crack on, because I'm sure that's what people would have wanted. And let's talk about the first thing that we've got. Tell you what, let's get really moist about the gusset with
Again?
with some proper serious hardware. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Analog Solutions Maximus 4V. Pass the Kleenex. There's that sound. I mean, very Depeche Mode influence, little riff and a little sound there. I think most people would agree, and that's not surprising considering Tom is a huge Depeche Mode fan. But what an amazing sound! This is the 4-voice Maximus. So you might remember that the original was an 8-voice, and here it is now in 4-voice form. So still polyphonic, but only with 4 voices. But each of those voices is absolutely jam-packed with loads of great features. So let's have a quick look at the list. Each voice is 2 VCOs with a mixer, 3 12 dB low-pass, bandpass and high-pass filters, 2 full ADSR envelopes, a 16-step note stroke modulation loop sequencer, that's on each voice, a BBD-style retro echo, a main-out VCA, white noise generator, sub-oscillator, portamento and glide, and the VCO tuning through a lovely big chunky Vernier dial, and lots of cross modulation controls. And then of course there's the master unit that sits underneath all of that, which gives you then a 8-channel stereo mixer with extra LFOs to spring reverbs, loads of other gadgets that are going on there. And then there's, of course, the keyboard, which is available separately. You don't have to buy the keyboard with the unit. Now, of course, the price is not going to be cheap because these are built to order, and they're built by Tom in his little workshop somewhere in the Midlands, in the deep dark Midlands of England. They are available to order right now. The main unit, the AS350, is 9,900, and the optional keyboard is 1,900. But it's not just a regular keyboard. It's let's see if we can get a picture of it here. Yeah, that keyboard has that wonderful 64-step touch strip at the top. It's a weighted, I believe, keyboard with full aftertouch velocity control. There it is. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. Wood and metal and electronics and all sorts going on in there. It's not cheap, but boy, I'm so glad that these things exist. They are beautiful, beautiful machines. And so now we can, maybe a few more people can afford the sound of the Maximus in their studios. They're wonderful, wonderful things. Gentlemen, who would like to talk about this first, or do you still need a moment?
Kent.
Well, to start with, I'm trying to make up my mind whether I want to thank Tom or sue him. I'm trying to make up my mind. I knew I shouldn't have shown him those bloody anaglyph plans.
It does look a bit, doesn't it?
Well, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of features there going, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, now, there's a limited amount of stuff you can do with it, let's face it. There's only so much you can design in that technology, so... Yeah, it's sort of like, he's kind of built the anaglyph, didn't he, when he did the big girl. Which saves me having to do it, so...
Well, yeah, there's that.
Thank you, Tom. I'll just take the credit and the money, thanks. Yeah, I mean, they've got lovely sounding oscillators. Really, really lovely sounding oscillators. Yeah. In many ways, they're quite reminiscent of the System 100.
Okay.
In many ways, but there's also another element in there. They sound actually quite a bit like what was that bloody thing called? It's
Jeff.
gone. Yeah,
Susan.
Colin the Synth. It sounded like Colin the Synth.
There we go.
But having the elements of the 100 system is a good thing. Because I still think it's probably one of the best sounding synthesizers ever created by man. Seriously. Even over this girl,
Yeah.
I mean, for doing poly, fine, but the monophonic stuff is like, it's the bee's nadgers. So,
Indeed.
yeah, I mean, he puts together a beautiful system. Yes, it costs a shite load of money. So does a Maserati. So does a Lamborghini. The price isn't the point here.
No.
It's not the point. So, yeah, I mean, good on him.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
on him.
You're buying hand-built, designed by a bonkers individual who is one of the loveliest human beings you're ever likely to meet. And I thoroughly recommend anybody, come to Synthfest UK and come and meet Tom, because you'll be nothing less than super impressed with him as a human being, let alone somebody who comes up with this stuff, which is just amazing.
I must admit, though, I am a little bit pissed at the fact that he wanted me to build the polymaths. I built polymaths. Mm-hmm. Fiona built the Megacity sequencers. The big 64 step sequencer. I think we did some Leipzigs as well. But when he started doing the Maximus and stuff like that, he was finding he was trying to find a different way of building the synthesizers that wasn't which was more cost effective, shall we say? Without going too far with it. And I was like, oh yeah, bastard! I wouldn't mind building them, because that way I get to play with them all day as well.
Exactly.
Because they need to be tested, I mean, extensively.
Yeah.
Up here, actually, it would be ideal.
Indeed.
So it's a lovely thing.
Yeah,
it's a lovely thing.
Absolutely. The the original version, the AS300 is there, and it's again, it's just this beautiful thing. But of course, it's twice the size and a little bit more than twice the cost. But again, there is a very good reason for that. It is this wonderful analog synthesizer, which a lot of people have, compared to the Oberheim 8 voice, and of course now they'll probably compare the new one to the Oberheim 4 voice, in as much as it's basically 4 or 8 independent synthesizer modules that are then linked together to do stuff. But of course, the fact that they're individual means that you can do some amazing things with it. Space for this in your studio, Andrew?
I was just thinking.
Steady.
Yeah, no, I know. I got very moist around the gusset when Korg announced their PS3300, which is coming in at about the same price. And, I know it's 48 notes, voices, or whatever.
String synth.
But, but it still sounds like a synth. It doesn't work. It's you don't know that when you're playing it. It's a brilliant thing.
Stop it! Don't stop it.
So as a player, which of course you're not, because you never do hardware jams. Yeah. So and which brings me to the next part of what I was thinking, which is what a lovely thing to have. After talking about Lisa and the hardware jams, this, it says in the blurb as the video was playing, a 4-track, essentially four track hardware, real-time analog hardware jam sequencer thingy, and it's the same kind of price as the PS3300. I just love the sound of this. So you asked whether or not there was room for it in my studio. If I had the budget and it was a choice between this and the 3300, I'd be really hard pushed, but I think this might tip it, even though it's only 4 voices, because what glorious 4 voices they are. And I like I like the thinking behind how this works. I really do, and I think Tom is a genius. And you're right, this is like a Ferrari or a Mansory Rolls Royce, about which there's been plenty on YouTube. This is custom built, hand built, and I just think it sounds amazing. And the way it performs, I'd have to get it with the keyboard, so it wouldn't be 9.5; it would be 11.5, wouldn't it? Or 9.9; it would be 11.4 or whatever. I think it's an amazing thing. And it gets me thinking creatively, which means I'm going to have to go and pay a visit to Mr. Unwin at some point. I keep on promising to go up there. I've got a mic waiting for me. I think it's lovely, and I think at 9.9 as an input thing, I think there will be a lot more interest, and I think it's also a better size. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
The 8 voice is just so big. And much as I love it, the 4 voice would probably be enough for me, for the kinds of things I would like to do. I think it's glorious. I think it's mad genius gloriousness. I think it's a really good thing. You should still build the anaglyph, Kent, because I think I think it's.
I haven't got the 85 grand to hand.
Well, hang on, I'll just have a look down the back of the sofa.
Have a look down the back of the sofa.
The sofa's got...
So I didn't get a chance to speak to Tom before we came on air, but given what he did with the Colossus, because the Colossus came out and then he brought out the double-sized Colossus, but then he brought out the Colossus broken down into 4 individual cabinets. So one could build a Colossus if one wished to, piece by piece. I wouldn't put it past him if he offered an expansion for the 4-voice version, should you wish to expand it at a later date. Maybe when you've sold the other kidney, you can then pop the extra 4-voice bit. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he just releases the 4-voice unit on its own without the control bit, and just say, here you go, here's 4 analog voices for you in a box, have at it, sort of thing. Because I'm sure there'll be a market. Maybe even, given the comparison between this and the Oberheims, maybe he'll release his version of a SEM and just release one of those, and you can buy one and just have a single analog monophonic.
To put it in
voice.
perspective, though, right, an original Oberheim 4-voice is twice as much as that costs.
Yes.
And can only do a tenth of what it does.
Absolutely.
Just to put it in
And this will have a
perspective.
warranty, and this will be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thing is, I can understand doing a SEM version, just or a 4-voice version without the keyboard. You think, but the controller at the bottom is so much a part of the sound of this.
Oh yes,
how it
absolutely,
works.
yeah.
So I'm not sure. That there'd be. I'm not sure, but I might be wrong. That there'd be a market for a 4-voice without that bit, because that's so much part of the overall sound of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I bet you there are people out there that would say, yeah, just give me one of those voices. I just the voice, and I'll just stick a couple of MIDI ports on the back and be done. But yeah, and that's the other thing with this. This is
Knowing Tom,
this
he's thinking about it.
Oh yeah, he's probably
And
already
that's,
got.
that's sort of $3.5 grand worth, something like that, as
exactly.
a single voice.
And compare this again. If we're going to compare this as it already has been to the Oberheim, this has got USB, it's got MIDI, it's got it's current, and it's it's usable in a modern day environment. So there you go.
And you save on your heating bills.
Exactly. This is it. Was what a little bit. I try and tell that to my wife.
Yeah.
Our heating bills would be through the roof if it wasn't for this room. So there we go. Of course, this time of year it's absolutely bonkers. But there you go. So Analog Solutions Maximus 4V is available to order now. Units will start shipping. Did he put a date on there? Not at the moment. But of course, those prices. So it's 9,900 UK pounds for the 4-voice version, and then an extra 1,900 for the keyboard, which is basically the controller. That excludes crating, shipping, and taxes where applicable. So, you've got to be. It's one of those synthesizers. If you have to ask how much, you probably can't afford it.
If you're not registered for that, that's going to be...
Indeed, yes. Can we say a big welcome to Big Jab, who has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much for your subscription. That's most welcome. And, of course, can we say a big happy birthday to Robert Fat Dusk Hetch, who's just donated £2. But happy birthday, Robert.
Happy birthday.
There you go.
Happy birthday, dear Robert. Happy birthday to you. There we go.
There we go.
Don't give up the day job.
I'm sure his day has been completely ruined by that.
Yes.
And his speakers, his ears.
The icing on the cake.
Yeah.
There we go. And also, can I give a shout out to Mike Hill, who was the gentleman who asked us to get all of the good stuff into the show before 8 p.m. Because of the football. But he's just told me on Facebook that he'll record the football and watch the live stream instead. You, sir, are a legend. Well done. Thank you very much indeed.
But a legend.
Yeah,
Send him a blue plaque.
Indeed, yeah, we'll put a blue plaque on the wall. This guy
up on the side of his house. Yeah.
Indeed. Right, let's move on. Let's see, what should we do next? Let's talk about another piece of kind of unique hardware. Now, I had a go on this a few months ago at Superbooth, and it's this company, Maya, have come out with some really, really cool stuff. Let's play a little video, which was taken, I believe, at Superbooth. And we'll leave that there because it goes on for about another 7 or 8 minutes, that video.
I was
But it's well
enjoying
worth
that.
having. Yeah, it's really good. That video came from Benito. .com on YouTube. So if you want to go and watch the rest of that, go and find Benito on YouTube. But this is the Maya or Maya. I'm not entirely sure. Tom is in the chat from Synth Anatomy. I think these guys are from Austria. So yes, he just said they're very close to his home. Is it Maya or Maya? I'm not entirely sure. Please correct me if you can. So this is the Vibes, and this is as you can hear, it's an incredibly powerful little box that has 24 stereo voices, 4 synth parts and 14 drum instruments, 2 oscillators with 3 different models, 8 different waveforms with morphing and modulation. There's a wavetable oscillator, an algorithm oscillator. There's a physical modeling resonator in there. There's a sample-based noise oscillator, multi-mode filters, 4 envelopes, 3 LFOs, loads of stuff, clip launching, step sequencers, arpeggiators. I mean, it's a proper little gig in the box, this one. And it has a web interface as well, and 14 gigabytes of internal memory to store presets, wavetables, samples, performances, and MIDI sequences. How much is this thing? That's a very good question because I don't have the price. I've lost the price. While I find that, guys, what did you think of that? Andy?
I like it. I mean, I love the demo. That's the thing. I've so many times I've bought things because of the demo and then got them and thought, oh, it's not quite what I thought. So, I mean, this is, as you said, it's a gig in the box, to which you have to connect keyboards and things to be able to play the parts in. I'm assuming. I'm also assuming if you connect it to a computer, you can drop sequences across, whether that's MIDI or otherwise, samples, loops. I'm not quite sure exactly what all of it does, but I love the idea of the resonant oscillator as well. That's another, yes, yet someone else with another something, and I like new ways of creating sounds. It's a really interesting box. I really want to get my hands on it, but I'd love to know how much it is as well.
I'm getting there. Keep going. I'm getting there.
Ken, what do you think of it,
the
apart
actress
from the
that
fact
took
you
the
said you liked it?
I definitely like the sound of it. I don't think I'm going to like the price of it, and I do have a little bit of little box phobia.
Okay.
As I'm finding out to my cost.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of menu diving that tends to be involved with it, and I can't swim. No. So, I like the sound of it though. Certainly like the sound of it.
Did you think, along with me, did you think watching the demo that was someone that clearly knows the box, really understands it intimately, so he knows what to press and where to switch? I was getting bemused by how many button presses were going on to get to something, which I get. That's about familiarity and that's about learning.
Well, that's all part of the kitten tickling genre, isn't it?
It is, but I'm finding more and more, as I'm moving deeper in, I've come back to this whole, hands-on thing, and I'm finding the more I have to menu dive to get to stuff, the more it's annoying me, which is why I like Tom's
It's
thing.
called getting old.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it's called getting old. We got less time in front of us than behind, and we go, I can't be doing this. Come on, can we just get on with the music?
Fair point.
No, seriously.
So, do you want to know how much it is?
Yeah.
Go on.
Should we guess?
Go on then.
I think it's going to be £49.
Okay, Kent.
2,200.
You're not far wrong, Kent.
Okay.
Andrew, you're way off. It's actually it's going to be in UK
49.
pounds. It's going to be 1,999. So yeah, you're looking at about €2,223, maybe 2.5 US, $2,000.
Yeah.
But it's essentially
Thing
a
is, for
workstation
that,
in a box.
Then there's also,
Yeah, I know.
but that's also then you're looking at the S2400 with all the bits that it's now got with the you're looking in that kind of territory, and I get on with that a bit better than I would with this. I think I really like the sound. I like the oscillators,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a box for a certain kind of individual that works with that. This, I think, what you're going to pay for this, you're going to get a heck of a lot in terms of sound capability and performance capability. I can see this, being used live a lot. If that's your thing, then I think £2,000 is probably a fair price to pay. If it's not, there are other things that you can spend £2,000 on that will maybe appeal to you more. But yeah, I don't think that's bad. And again, it's a small company based in Austria. They've only, as I'm saying that, Tom's stuff pops up here. So yeah, hand built in Austria. PCBs are also made in Europe by a little company with less than 5 people.
That would explain the pricing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not been mass produced.
And they have done some really cool things over the last few years. The name sort of keeps popping up in terms of their products, because you've got the MD9000, which was this bigger. Let's bring this on screen. Here we go. This is the MD9000. Same sort of synth engine here. It's a virtual analog, but it's stupidly feature packed. 16 shared stereo voices with 4 synth parts and 14 drum instruments, and again with the same sort of engines. They've cut this down and given us the vibes, which is going to be smaller and cheaper. But yeah, they're making some really good stuff.
How much is the MD900?
Let's have a look. Bear with me, people, because I had this up here. So the MD900 is £2,999.
I would rather pay that and get that because of all the knobs and buttons. It's much more immediate. It's much more immediate because I like the sound. I like the sound a lot. But I get it. I get it. There will be, I'm sure, an audience for it.
Yeah.
Not me, I think.
Yeah, but it's a good sounding thing. It's a really good. And
do you like it?
I had to play with it at Super Booth, and I had to play with the MD900 a year or two ago. And they're fun, and they sound really good.
Which did you prefer?
I don't know really, because I played with the MD900 a couple of years ago, and then I played with the Vibes, and the guy was showing me, because it is, it's not a sim. You can't just like jump in and go, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing here. You have to, understand, because there's that nice big touchscreen with lots of things going on. So he was showing me the stuff, but it sounded very impressive. I believe it probably sounded more impressive because it was in a smaller room at the, if I remember rightly, it was in the bungalow Dorf. So things always tend to sound better there because you're not in a big hall, and he wasn't competing with so much. And I think he was probably the loudest person in the room as well. But yeah, it's. I think if you watch the walkabout video I did, it's one of the early things that I walked past in that video. But there's plenty of stuff to. For me, it's not. The sound is amazing. The specs are amazing. This is not something I would personally use, because I don't use that sort of everything in the box type thing. But there you go. And again, as Tom has pointed out, whoops, wrong one. There will be an Ableton Live inspired software editor where you can program the sequences, create clips for the clip launcher, etc. So there is going to be some sort of software elements to it as well. But I like it. I like the fact that somebody's doing that sort of thing, even though it is a little bit expensive. But it's worth it. Maybe they should stick one in a keyboard. See how that goes.
Yeah.
Indeed. So that's the Maya EMI. I just want to burst into a Sex Pistols song right there. Did you know, by the way, sorry to sort of go completely off tangent, last night in Bush Hall in Shepherd's Bush, Glenn Matlock, Steve Jones and Paul Cook, along with some guy called Freddie, basically played a gig, Sex Pistols gig, in Bush Hall last night.
What?
No. That is something I would love to see, because Matlock and Jones, just brilliant. Matlock's a superb bassist and Jones is a superb guitarist. I'm not saying Paul Cook's a bad drummer, but I'm saying those two guys, I would love to see them in a place like the Bush Hall, which is a nice little small venue. But yeah.
You heard it here first. Paul Cook?
Paul Cook.
Paul Cook, rubbish. Yeah, that's what That's what.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Let's wait for the Royal Air Force to go over there. I'm sorry, I have got my windows open, so you will hear. You hear that?
Didn't hear a thing. Didn't hear a thing.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Prop planes aren't that noisy.
They are here. So let's see. What should we talk? Let's talk about this because this is interesting. Now, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago that Behringer announced their clone of the Pearl Syncussion. Well, now there's something else for you to mull over and choose whether you might want this or not. And this is the SY-4X Syncussion from AlyJames, or his company, AlyJamesLab. Ali's a French guy who does some amazing software plugins. He does the VPROM, which is my go-to Lindrum plugin. He does the VSDSX. I think that's the right... did I get that right? Is it the VS... Yeah, the VSDSX, which is a Simmons SDS5 version. He does the claptrap as well. He does a great OBXA plugin as well. But this is the new one, which is based off of the Pearl Syncussion. But it's essentially like having 4 of these in a unit. Now, unfortunately, Ali hasn't got around, because he is literally a one-man band. He hasn't got around to doing any video demos of this thing. Unless, of course, you subscribe to his Instagram account where there's a few bits and bobs on there. But what I've heard so far sounds really, really good. It's modelled, completely, down to a very fine level on the original, and has all of the features plus lots of extra bits. And essentially, like I said, this is basically 4 SY1s in a box, as demonstrated by that wonderful graphic right there. It wasn't just a kind of a drum synth. It was, you could also use it for sort of melodic bits as well. You could play it in a melodic way. So it was quite an interesting, versatile little piece of kit. And of course, the price of this is the price of a piece of independently created software, which is around 50 quid. Let's have a quick look here.
By the way, I forgot.
Where did that come from?
The F mode.
There's videos also playing. Actually, let's play this because we can actually hear it in full swing here. Sound, I mean, it has its sound of all of its own, really. It's about 50 quid. Let's just click on there. 51 euros. So it's about 45 quid, 46 quid, just for that plugin. He does them very reasonably priced. Works on PC and Mac, VST3 audio units on Mac as well. Works on Intel and Mac Silicon natively, and he is actually trying to get all of his plugins up to the latest spec as far as Apple stuff is concerned. But Kent, Syncussions, like these things?
Yeah, I got one.
Have you now? Didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I got one of them. It looks like it was backed over by a Land Rover, but I do have one.
Did it have Andrew Longhurst hanging at the back of
it? Get away from my Syncussion, you. They were quite unique. They didn't really penetrate the muse biz.
Penetrate.
Yeah, that much, or as much as they would have liked them to. But they got out there, and they're quite unique with their sounds. So, they can go from quite contemporary to absolute nuts, which is always good in a single unit.
Yeah.
So and listening to the some of the SoundCloud tracks they had there, got that sound down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
It also comes with this thing called Berserk mode, which allows you to choose between a pre-filter clipping stage or a post-filter crusher stage.
Yeah.
Both Berserk types are tamed by a stability parameter. So he says. Use it for subtle crunch or just go full-on Berserk.
The alternative is you take a real Syncussion, you just tip a glass of water over it.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it does. It goes
Absolutely.
into Berserker mode. Yeah.
Andrew, what do you think of this?
Well, I use these many years ago, I liked the sound of these. I preferred the sound of these to the Simmons SD-S5.
Ooh, controversial.
You could get... No, I did. I mean, I just did, because you could do so much more with them. They had a sound, and just at the birth of sort of hip-hop and house, these were really, really handy things to have to hand, because you could be really quickly generating stuff. There's a whole bunch of randomization in there that you could use. They were great things. They were really, really good sounds, and you could end up... I mean, they should have sounded awful, but somehow they never quite did. And what they did do was come up with some... you could come up with some amazing loops that you could sample, put into a track and play around with, or you could just have this, use the envelope shaper coming in to do all sorts of things with guitars and God knows what else. These were great. I like them, and I really like this version of it. The four models all at once. Four voices, as it were, all at once. I like this a lot. I'm going to be getting this. I think Ali, when he released the SDS5 emulator, I was particularly disparaging, as was I think Ty and various others. I hated that sound so much, but appreciated that there would be people that wanted to have that sound. It's become contemporary again. This just walks all over it, and for the kinds of things people are doing now, if you're doing modern music production, you need this in your life. It's a really good thing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. Hats off to Ali for that. He's working his proverbial backside off getting this new stuff out and updating the existing stuff, which is really, really good. If you are looking for a Lindrum emulation, then there is none better. As far as software is concerned, there is none better. It is just superb.
Lindrum?
Yeah. He does a Lindrum plugin.
Oh, of course. Sorry, that's...
So, yeah, it's very good. So, yeah, he does some really, really good stuff. So, well done. AlyJamesLab SY-4X Syncussion is available now for €51. Work out however that goes in your particular currency. Let's talk about some more software, because this... So we spoke last week about this project that emulates the Motorola DSP 56300 family of DSP chips. And they reverse engineered this so that they can actually emulate these DSP chips, and then they they succeed in emulating the hardware that used those DSPs, so that we can now have plugins of things like the Access Virus and the Waldorf Micro Q. And last week we talked about the Waldorf Microwave XT, or was it the Microwave 2 or the XT, or both, I think it is. And then no sooner had we mentioned that, and I think Ben from Musines mentioned it in the chat last week, that one of the next things that they'll be coming up with is a clone of the Clavia Nord Lead 2X, which used those same chips. And literally no sooner had we spoken about the other one on the show last week, this video came out. So we'll leave that there again because the video goes on, but that video is on YouTube if you want to watch the whole thing. Now, I want to say straight away, this isn't available yet. It is currently in like an alpha stage. And the way these guys work is that if you join their Discord channel and then donate at least 20 UK pounds, you will then be given access to test versions of this. So you'll be doing them a favour, and also you get some sort of early access. They do then, once they've kind of run through that wave of testing, they do stick it as a public beta, so you can go and download these and use them. And the other caveat that I need to mention is that you need the firmware of the original synthesizer, as Siri is now telling Kent. You need the firmware of the original synthesizer to operate these, and this is where it kind of gets a little bit of a grey zone, because you shouldn't really be having that firmware unless you own the original hardware. So there's lots of disclaimers around the website saying these are, why do you do that? Bring it up. Look at that, she's gorgeous. Hi.
100.
So yeah, they you require the firmware, but you obviously they can't tell you how to get the firmware because that would be rather naughty, shall we say. But the internet being the internet, it's not too difficult to find these things. So we won't tell you where to find them, but I'm sure you can find
You do
them.
realise no one was paying any attention to what you said there.
They're all going, give me that, because I want that. When I
want this plugin. I want this plugin.
When I heard that, I was just transported back about 25 years to all of that stuff that I was listening to on future music demo CDs of the Clavia, and think, this is the future. Virtual analog, this is where it's all at. And those sounds were just so reminiscent. They really was a big nostalgia trip. And I used their virus ones, and I used the Waldorf stuff as well. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. So I'm really excited about this.
No, I like
really
that
excited,
a lot.
Yeah, because there hasn't been many. Well, I mean, obviously the Nord Lead is still essentially is a current model. The Nord Lead A1, I believe, is the current version of it. But this is another thing that kind of, when I was doing a little bit of research, because I do tend to every now and again. The Nord Lead came out in 1995. It was one of the first ever virtual analog synthesizer keyboards, closely followed by the likes of that guy, the AM1X, and then, of course, the JP8000, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff. But the Nord Lead was kind of always regarded as the first in this kind of thing. And it's still a valid product range today. I mean, that's staying power, isn't it?
Do you remember there was a lot of sniffiness initially about virtual analog?
Oh, of course, yeah.
And there still is today to a certain extent. I mean, here's the thing. I never really got to grips with the Nord Lead or with any of the Nord products. I was so busy with other things. I had all sorts of other things that did that stuff instead. You know, I went down the Novation Supernova route and various others. But I was always really captivated by the sound, and I've often wondered whether or not I should have got one. This is now definitely going to end up in my, let's get one and do some testing and find some firmware list. I'm with Kent on that. And, with what they've done with the Waldorf XT as well, and, all the other stuff they've been working on, I think this is a must-have as well. I think it's a really interesting synthesis model. Love it. And I just love the sound of it. It's so clean.
Yeah, it is. It's a lovely sounding thing. I mean, I've never owned a Nord, but this has actually made me think, if I find an old Nord Lead knocking around somewhere, that would be an interesting thing. But then, this is going to be free and it'll be software. So you said you're going to pick this up, Kent?
Yeah, I love the sound of this. This is a time in synthesizers I completely missed.
Yeah,
I went from ancient analog that was built in the early 12th century, and then suddenly just made the leap to like top of the range. Oh my god stuff. And all of that period then,
It will be
Miss it.
interesting. It will be interesting to see if anything happens on a legal aspect, because Clavia are still a company that make the Nord lead in one fashion or another. It's not this. There's not been. So there were two synthesizers. One that often get attributed as being Nord lead clones. One is Synth 1, which wasn't a sound clone, it was a feature clone. The guy, I think it's a Japanese guy behind it, he wanted to build a synthesizer that had the features of the Nord lead, but not necessarily the sound. So it's not essentially a clone. A lot of people say, it's a free Nord lead clone. It isn't really. And then Disco DSP have a synth called Discovery, which is closely modelled to a point on the Nord lead. So that there's not a huge amount out there, and I'm surprised. But maybe it's too soon for virtual analogs, because there aren't many. I mean, there's loads of virtual analog synthesizers in software form. So do we need to have? I don't know.
But this just sounds
it sounds great.
Good. And if you've got the firmware, then you've got access to all the presets that were out there. Yeah. There were some great banks of sounds, and this was used in so many hits, all the really sort of classy hits. Whenever you saw a really expensive production or a tour, everyone was playing the
and they still do. They still do. I mean, you go to a gig nowadays, and if you don't see a red Nord or a red Clavia keyboard, whether it's the Nords or whether it's the Electros or whatever, they are incredibly well thought of because they're very robust. It's good old Swedish construction, isn't it? Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, so if you want to go and check these guys out, they are on the internet, and they're under the DSP 56300 emulation blog. Fair rolls off the tongue, that one. All the information you need is there. There are instructions on how to use this stuff, how to get it going. There's obviously no instructions about how to find the firmware. You have to go and do that digging yourself, but trust me, it's not hard. But yeah, go and check those guys out. And if you can support them, go and donate 20 quid, and then tell them you've donated, and then you can get early access if you wish.
I think also that the Supernova 2 was also based on the same chipset. I believe. I think it was 8 of them.
Yeah, there is a list.
What, like this?
Yeah. There's a table on here that mentions everything that was used. Let's get him off screen, otherwise he thinks he's being funny. There is somewhere. Where is it?
Noticeably.
I can't find it. Is it? Oh, here it is. It's in the frequently asked questions. There you go. Right. So here's a list of stuff that use it. So the Waldorf Microwave 2 and XT, the Micro Q, the Q, the Clavia Micro, Nord Modular, Nord Lead 2X, Nord Lead 3, the Novation Supernova, as you said, it's got eight of those chips on it. The Nova is there, Korg MS2000, the Korg Micro Korg, and of course the Access viruses. So they're not, as you can see, some of them have been released, some are in development, such as the Microwave 2 and the Nord Lead are both in development. The Nord Lead 3 and the Waldorf Q are in research stage, and who knows if they'll attempt the other ones. But there's plenty to look forward to. But yeah, go and chuck them a few quid if you're interested, and then you get some early access and playing around. I'm seriously tempted to do that myself. Right, let's see, what have we got next? Let's talk some freebies. I think we've actually spoken about this before, but they've just released 2 brand new patch banks for this, and it's not a synthesizer.
Convology XT is a free convolutional reverb that comes with more than 80 built-in responses. It's a collaboration between Wave Arts, who developed the plugin, and Impulse Record, who recorded the impulse responses. The convolutional reverb works using recorded samples of the reverb. This is in contrast to an algorithmic reverb, which works using a network of recirculating delay lines. Convolutional reverbs have the advantage of being able to replicate the sound of any real or artificial reverberation. Convology XT.
That's Convology XT, which you can get for nothing. It's completely free of charge. There it is.
Freebie.
Yep. And it's a convolution reverb plug-in. It comes with 74 impulse responses built in. It supports true stereo impulse responses, loads WAV and A files, loads of features, very low latency. I've been playing around with this for a while, and it's a really nice plugin, especially with the 71 IRs that you get with it. The reason that I'm highlighting it today is that they've just released a couple of impulse response packages. This is the first one, True Stereo 1, which, as you can probably tell from the graphic on the cover, is impulse responses from Lexicon reverbs, the 960L, the 480L, the PCM91, and the LXP one multi-effects processing. And they are half price. They're only $34.50 in US dollars. There's 193 responses in there in that one package, which is really, really nice. The other package is this one, which is True Stereo 2, which samples, or I say impulse responses, the whole bunch of digital stuff. So Sony, the DPSV55, the Yamaha SPX 990, the Roland SRV 330, and the TC Electronic M1 XL, and that's only $24.50. And again, you get 398 responses in there. The bulk of them are the SPX 990, which I've got one sitting just around the corner there, which I got from our lovely friend Robert, Native VS. But this isn't bad, is it, guys?
I got this.
It's a bit of a bargain.
I got this. I've yet to use it because I only got it. Was it this morning?
Right.
Or this afternoon? One of them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to using it, actually. I must admit, the thing that struck me was when I was watching the video, is the voice of the guy. He sounds like a guy that sells dildos shaped like Kim Jong Un out of the back of a van in Camden.
He sounds like that gangster actor, doesn't he?
He's a geezer, isn't he? And he's sort of like, here, try this. Right, it's convoluted, right? It's better than algorithm ones because they're shit, right? Yeah, you want the convoluted, mate. Yeah, have some of them. Look, free for a pound. So,
Free for a pound.
Yeah, free for a pound. You know what it's like.
Stick a pony in your pocket.
Yeah, but it was brilliant, and he conveyed everything across beautifully and everything like that.
Yeah.
And when they were playing some of those reverb, those impulse responses, and the guy even says in the video, he goes, it's free because actually we would like you to buy the impulse responses packs that were coming out.
Yeah.
Explaining why it's free as well. And I'm going, yeah.
Honest.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to some of these reverb settings and stuff like that, and he does he does a couple of my long tails, and I'm going, yeah, I'm having some of this. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
so
good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff. Andy, is this on your shopping list?
I've got it. Like Ken, I downloaded the freebie this afternoon. I gave it the briefest of tries, and the sound is amazing. They also, as well as doing individual bundles, they've got 20 or something already on their site, and they cost between there's $40, $35, $24 for various different things, or you can buy a complete bundle, of the vintage complete real spaces, true stereo. So they're also, as well as doing convolution reverb sampling of the of really classic reverbs, they're also doing proper spaces, halls, churches, that kind of stuff, which is what you want. And what I've heard so far is just astonishing. So I'm getting the Lex pack, which comes in at around about 28 quid, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that, and I will probably buy a bundle of others, churches, halls, arenas, stadiums. That.
Well, this is the thing. You can actually, like tailor make the reverb to what you want.
Yeah. And they do bundles as well, don't they? As well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can bring in your own impulse responses. So if you've been out and recorded a response, you can bring that in as well. So
there are a ton of impulse responses online. I mean, when I say a ton, there's gazillions of them.
Yeah,
free. That you can get. Yeah, so absolutely, it's a really useful tool.
This is a really lovely thing. Yeah, and it does have a gorgeous tail. I mean,
but it's lovely and straightforward and doesn't have a 8 billion controls on it, and
does exactly what it says on the
menu diving.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem to hit the CPU too hard either, which is really good.
No,
so get it for free, get 74 presets. If you like it, then buy a couple of bundles.
Yeah.
And you get all of the lexicon stuff for 28 quid. That's just all right.
Absolute
Where
bargain.
do I sign up?
Absolute bargain.
Yeah,
there you
I'm
go.
really
So
excited by this.
if you want that, it's wavearts.com, and then go and look for the Convology XT, which is completely free. And then if you want to buy some packs, expand your library. There you go. Right. Let's give this whole thing a plug. Let's go back in time let's go back in time by almost about a year. So this is the news that Synthfest 2024 is officially announced. Tickets are on sale, and it's all happening this October the 5th at the usual place, the Octagon in Sheffield. There's lots going on. There's the usual range of seminars. I won't be doing one this year. I'm having a year off, but I will be on the floor, literally, with Peter. With a bunch of emulators. We've got our stand there, but there's loads of great stuff as per usual. The seminars this year are going to be, there's Jason Miles is doing one. If you don't know Jason Miles, just check out the credit lists on albums such made by such legends as George Benson, Luther Vandross, Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan, Michael Jackson, and of course the great Miles Davis. He played with all of those. Also a big emulator user, so he's going to be popping over to our stand and maybe giving some stuff on there. The fabulous Ollie Freck is going to be doing a talk on iconic drum machines. Ollie is this guy. Do you remember? He's done all these hand-drawn sketches of synthesizers. He did a whole book of these. He's properly into his music tech, and he's going to be doing stuff on the iconic drum machines. Then there's another talk to be announced in between that and the final one, which is DivKid. Those of you in the modular Eurorack world will be very familiar with Ben, and he's going to be doing some patches from scratch towards the end of the day. And there's who's that? I recognise those two people. So yeah, Synthfest UK tickets are available now. If you get in before the end of August, you get the early bird price. So it's $15.99 until the 31st of August. After that, it's $17.99. But on the day, it's 25 quid. So if you haven't bought a ticket in advance, you do kind of pay a bit of a premium. There are obviously discounts for students, senior citizens. So I think we all qualify for that. Children between 14 and 18 are 7 quid. Under 14, your kids come free, which is fantastic. So yeah, tickets are available from synthfest.co.uk. go and grab them now and come along and join us, because I'll be there. I don't know if Andy's coming up. Kent, do you think we can maybe blindfold you, put some drugs in your milk, get you on a plane? I ain't getting no damn plane.
Every time somebody says Synthfest,
your handbrakes.
I just go, my poor disc brakes on my poor Chrysler.
Oh, bless her. She didn't mean to do it.
Well, at least we know the Chrysler can drive to Sheffield with the handbrake on.
With the handbrake on, yeah.
And smoke pouring out of the wheels and people beeping at her going, there's smoke coming out of your back wheels. And she's going, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
or
there we
she can
go.
take the Mustang. She'll be there in 20 minutes.
Indeed. Yeah, stick her in the Mustang. Yeah.
I'll never see it again.
Well, you
I'll
will,
keep
but
an eye.
wrapped around a telegraph pole or something.
Yeah. She'll send me
Telegraph?
photographs from
Did
the...
I say telegraph?
Yeah.
See? Pensioner discount straight there, right away.
Good Lord, sir. I believe you've done a faux pas.
I believe my carriage and horses is still on its way. Yeah. It does look like a good thing. There was a picture in there of some sort of circumferentially challenged bloke behind a DX1. He looked very attractive, I have to say. I'd pay to see that.
Circumferentially challenged.
Circumferentially challenged.
But, and there wasn't a DX1 there. QX1.
Oh, was it a QX1?
It was a QX1.
Yeah, you
Oh, the
see.
DX1 was the other thing.
Pensioner, I say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
not
under
taking that to
14.
Sheffield. Dear,
I'm
oh,
under
dear, oh, dear.
14.
Yeah. So anyway, Synthfest, come and see us, because we'll be there. We'll have a stand there, and the gang all gets together, as many of us we can. There's so many people come along. So come and have some fun in Sheffield. And then following week, of course, there's Machine of Bristronica, which we're going to be at as well. And it's been announced that Dave Rossum is going to be at Machine of Bristronica, and we've been told that he wants to come and spend significant amounts of time at our stand because we've got all of his babies.
Which
So,
is curious because earlier ACO had mentioned, and I don't know where he got this from, I really don't, but apparently he knows that I used to, and not a lot of people know this, but I used to work for EMU, right? I used to be, I had some...
Did you?
Yeah, I know. I've kept it very quiet, right? I've kept it
Didn't know that.
very, very quiet. So I really, and I love Dave, so I'm going to try and make it along to that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
that'd be
going to
good.
try and make it along. I might bring one of these puppies and the E4 Ultra Platinum as well, because
Trust me,
we
mate,
won't
that's
have
not a
those.
puppy.
Yeah.
It's not biting your arm.
Oh, by the way, Ken, I had this is almost pub thing. I had a message from a really old pal. I did a production for him and with him years ago on a sort of a gospel album. It was brilliant, and I'd forgotten that all the way through that album he called me Spongy for some reason, and he just wrote to me out of the blue, said, "Hi Spongy, how you doing?" I went, "Spongy? What? This who?" So, because I've been wondering where I knew the name from, and it's because I used to be Spongy.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Bringing it back on topic. Thank you, Robert. Robert's given us another £5 just for singing Happy Birthday. So maybe if you sing Happy Birthday, I'll pay you another £5 to stop. No, that wasn't a request. Eric in the chat, who's pictured there, I believe, with a Polyfusion at, I believe, Knobcon, wanted to know if we could mention aforementioned Chicago-based synthesizer show. Well,
Knobcon. There you
why
go.
the bloody hell not? There we go. Let's talk about Knobcon, because Knobcon is coming up September 6th. $75 for a 3-day ticket. That's the only ticket you can only do 3 days. It's at a hotel. It's just outside the airport. There really is no reason for you not to go, apart from, in my excuse, I've got no money. I really
I've
wanted
got a
to
good
go.
excuse.
Go on. Yeah, well, that's true. It's a fabulous event that's put on by our friend Suit and Tie Guy. He puts on amazing talks and workshops, and of course a bunch of manufacturers come down. There's, as you can see there, look at that list of manufacturers. It's the who's who of the synthesizer world. 1010 Music, Bukes are there. Bukes, of course, will be at Synthfest, which will be the UK debut.
I see
of the new
PPG
Minimoto.
aren't going again.
No. There's no fair like this year either, or Clavia.
Oh.
But there is... who else have we got in there? We've got Conductive Labs in there. Bootler are there. Hammond are there. Future Retro are there. Joe Mox. Melbourne Instruments. Yeah, loads of good stuff. Lots of modular stuff. But names I don't recognise. Novation and Oberheim are also there.
Dr. Mike will be there.
Dr. Mike will be there. Manny Fernandez, I believe, will be there. Lots of our American friends will be there. So, yeah.
Showing off the book I bought yesterday.
There you go. That time. Yes.
He's only going in case there are teething problems.
Thank you, Pete, for your £5. Much appreciated. Yeah. Thank you for that. Looking forward to seeing Peter next week.
Not long.
Peter and I go and see Thomas Dolby next week.
What, going round his house?
Yeah, we're going to go over there, duff him up a little bit.
Throw wet toilet paper at the windows.
Tug on the new wig. See how well it's stuck on. But no, we're off to Shepherd's Bush Empire to go and watch Thomas on Thursday next week. So I'll be able to tell you all about that on the Friday show, which will be the last show before I go on the Ollibobs.
I see.
Anyway, there we go.
So
we mentioned
Bobs.
Nobcom. Well, yeah, I know. It's the perks of being self-employed. You know.
Yeah. No. No. Where'd that come from?
Moving swiftly on.
Yes, go on then.
Let's move swiftly on. Let's. You all know how much I like physical modelling. Well, here's something that wetted my whistle somewhat. And there he goes. This is preparation 2 from physicalaudio.co.uk. It's an interesting little physical modelling string-based instrument with this dynamic fret and a rattle. So it's kind of coming from a slightly different angle, but not massively different, that it's earth-shatteringly groundbreaking. All that. But I kind of like the sounds and the controls that you have over this. It's kind of nice. It's only 48 quid at the moment. Normally 79, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like this sort of thing, but I'm not hearing anything particularly unique.
I tell you what, I'm not seeing or hearing is any relationship between the knobs that were twisted in the video and the sounds that I'm hearing. So I've got no idea what it does. None. I mean, yes, it's a string thingy, but all these knobs are twisted and all of these things to do with the hardness of the string and bowing and whatever, and those weren't sounds that were being affected whilst I was watching it. So I've got no sense of what it does, and it really, I've done this, I've gone off on this so many times before. I've no idea what it does, and it really annoys me when videos are put out that don't
So I think,
show
I mean,
you.
the clue is kind of in the name, in that it's called Preparation 2, and so
Preparation
these
H.
are prepared strings. I do like a prepared piano myself. I'm quite kind of partial to one of those. But this is a physical model of a string that's been prepared and then has those kind of sonic properties.
And there was an awful lot of percussion in there. I thought this was about.
Yeah.
I thought this was a percussion thing. Come on.
Would have been
guys.
nicer to just have it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd just like to hear it. Really would like to see what it does.
But it is a nice. I am always partial to a little bit of physical modelling, but this didn't grab me as much as others have, shall we say?
Gosh.
What about you, Spong? Did it grab you anywhere in particular?
Well, yes and no. I think I listen to it and I go, yeah, I've got some uses for this, for sure. And it's not overly expensive because let's face it. I mean, the beer harmonic stuff is brilliant, but my God, how much?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, this isn't bank breaking kind of pricing. I think it shows, although the sounds are very similar to, say, the Osmos, in some respects, it's better than the those string sounds that the Osmos does. And it's got the MPE and all the rest of it. So yeah. I think I'm going to get it because there's probably a bit of hard drive space that needs using up. And I might actually get around to using it, but because it's like you go, oh yeah, there's that sound there. There's a track I could do with using that sound, and it's just a matter of whether I actually get around to ever doing it.
Yeah.
So I will. I mean, at that price, I mean, it's not going to break the bank. It'll go, yeah. Do you know what? We'll throw that on, and then if the opportunity arises, it will be there.
Yeah. I mean, so you can download the instrument and try it in demo mode just to get a feel of it. But yeah, for 48 quid, it's not really breaking the bank at all. Yeah. So,
and like I say, these kind of plugins are normally 3 figures.
Yeah, true.
Rather than 2. So, yeah, I think altogether it's not a bad little thing, actually.
Yeah. So there you go. It's physicalaudio.co.uk. I think the link has already been put into the chat. But go and check that out. And if you like it, buy it. If you don't, don't.
If you like it, buy it.
It's, just so you know, it's macOS 10.13 and above, native Intel or Apple Silicon, and Windows 10 or 11. If you are an owner of Preparation V1, then you get a 50% off voucher for the upgrade. So there you go. Just thought I'd mention that. We've got to mention these guys, I'm afraid. I think we've kind of already mentioned them once, but this dropped, I don't know, about an hour before the show, so I guess we have to feature it. Here we go. Everyone, hold on to your seats. It's the Behringer DMX. No, it's not a bike. It's a clone of the Oberheim DMX, which they seem to have shoehorned into a mirror image of their LM drum, which was the still long-awaited Lindrum clone. But they seem to have reversed. They flipped it on the vertical axes. Looks like a Oberheim. Hopefully will sound like an Oberheim. But it's not available. Again, this is, we're teasing you, they say, but who knows when this will appear. But it'll be interesting. It's a hybrid 8 and 12-bit sampling drum machine, so not only will it come with, one presumes, the sounds of the original, but also you can place your own in there. It's got a wave designer, which is a feature they've had on a number of their drum machines. It's got an analog filter. It's got a nice little LCD display, sequencer, everything built in, USB and regular MIDI ports on the back. So I'm led to believe, and of course pads, 3 pads per drum sound, and then their own individual faders and pan controls and track mutes and what have you. So any thoughts on this? I mean, would this tempt you to be buying one of these over, say, for example, the G4 software plug-in version, if you are into your hardware drum machines?
I think it's a really good layout. I'm with James on this. I like the layout on it.
It's funny because it's been done before, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It has been done before. I don't know. I like the plugin a lot, and I love the update. Not sure that it would. I'm not sure how big those controls actually are, or how big is the box. Like a or is it actually this big? Is it a teeny weeny little thing?
I think it's going to be sort of like RD9, RD8 size, which is
sort of about that big.
Yeah.
Sorry, where are we? There.
Desktop size, but not small. It's going to be They're not as big as the originals, but they're not tiny.
They'll sell lots of them.
Of course,
when they bring it out.
Of course they will.
Not, I like the layout though. I like the layout. Not, I've got enough. I've got these. I don't need that. But it's a nice enough thing. They've done a good job nicking the design. It's fine. If it comes out at a good price, lots of people I'm sure will be getting it.
Some good comments coming up in the chat. Does it have the ET expansion? BMX. Yeah. What's next? The Behringer Chopper. I thought this one from the audio engineer, Behringer Grifter next, because that has two meanings. I had a grifter. I got a grifter in 1981 for Christmas. Big red grifter. It was twice the size of me. I was only a little thing.
Is that what you call it?
And it had twist grip gears. And my mates had the Striker, and another one had the Boxer. We used to go out it was like evolution of man kind of thing. Anyway, yes, I thought that was kind of funny. Grifters did not suck. They were great. They were really stupidly heavy, and you couldn't ride them like a BMX, even though they tried to look like one. But
as soon as you said grifter, I got a picture in my head of a Catholic priest for some reason. So everything that's being said in the chat and everything it's just I've been going with it. Don't know why. There we go. Now I remember the grifter is a bike, isn't it?
Grifter is a bike. Yes,
a bike rather
big
than
red heavy bike that looked like a BMX style bike, but was absolutely if you tried to pull a wheelie or a jump on that, you fell to the earth with a massive. It was so heavy. Although it was very useful when I started a paper round because it was strong enough to take a massive great bag of Sunday papers back in the day. Anyway, we've gone completely
digressed.
I really need better glasses. I thought Ben said that he'd got a super bummer.
Maybe he has.
I can't read it at all.
Maybe he has.
I can't wait for the new glasses to arrive.
Good to see Jamie in the chat, by the way. Jamie, to echo Icing the Body Electric's question, are you doing a show this Sunday? Please let us know, because we'll tell everyone. So anyway, that's the Behringer BMX, supposedly happening soon.
It's a good-looking thing.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking thing, it is.
Anyway. We've got about 25 minutes. We've only got one more thing to talk about. Ooh, let's see if we string this one out.
Well, we've got two more things we can talk about.
Have we? What's the second one? What's he pointing at? Oh, that. Yes, we can talk about that. Yes, that's true. Thank you. Yeah. It took a while to get there, but we got there in the end. Before we get there, let's talk about this. Oh. So this is the Nano patch from our friend Dud, who is an Australian that lives in Thailand, and he's been producing stuff like this for a little while. This is the Nano Patch X, which is an 8-point patch bay. Costs a mere 68 of your Australian dollars. Well, what's that, about 10p, isn't it, or something like that, the current exchange rate? It's not a lot of money at all. As you can see, it's this literally tiny little box where you can just plug in your cables at the back and then patch away to your heart's content. Lovely little thing. I've got one of his the bigger patch bay that he did.
The mini bay version 2.
Yeah, I've got the version 1.
Okay.
That's the one, and it works. It just works. It's brilliant. You can use it for patching effects in, like a regular patch bay. You can use it for putting guitar pedals through, or just sending audio in various different ways. It's a lovely thing. But yeah, this is the Nano patch, which says it's just, there are two versions. There's the patch X and the patch M, which do things slightly differently. But it works with CV, so you can send CV and gate signals if you're into that sort of thing, using patch cables and stuff. But yeah, these are really affordable, very useful little devices. And the larger one is so it's had some use here. It's not connected. I was just, while that video was going, I was trying frantically to find it. It's over there somewhere. Any thoughts on this,
Kent?
Did you say he's a friend of the show?
Yeah.
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Andy?
I think it's brilliant. I think this kind of tiny wee box that's 25, 30, 40 quid or whatever it is, with all the different synths that are out there now providing CV in and out, and lots of people using modular, this kind of thing is just a boon. At that kind of money, it's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing, and the pair of them together, the M and the X, they make a very complete offering. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think this is, if you were into your hardware jamming and stuff, and you just have a whole bunch of these little boxes, this is a really useful tool to start routing audio very quickly and very simply, without complicating the affair with that stuff. So it's open-ended little boxes, so there's corners have been cut in terms, but look at the price. I mean, it's nothing. Useful little boxes. So there you go. Dud Faz is his name, and DF Audio is his company, and you can go and buy these now from dfaudio.com, along with, as I said before, you've also got the larger mini bay version 2, currently only available as B stock, but they are really good, really useful little things. And all you need is some some split cables at the back, and you can send all sorts of information and through one of those, mess around.
I was going to say that a couple of weeks ago, this would have been the kind of thing that Kent would have liked to have, but I get a sense that I probably should shut up about now. But I'm not quite sure. I will find out at one point or another. But they're good things, They're very affordable.
And moving on, let's go to our final topic. Because, Andrew, you, this week, I believe, was it this week or last week? I can't remember.
Last week.
Last week, you received one of these.
I did.
As many people seem to be doing, which is great. The Sonicware Live and Ambient Zero. You've again, we're probably going to upset Kent here. Have you had yours yet?
Yeah, see.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it the day after him.
Oh.
Have you played with it yet?
A little.
And your thoughts?
What do you make of it?
You remember, because I said, how'd you get the thing to shut up?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, you asked me to turn how to turn the speaker off.
Yeah. Is it straightforward, or do I have to go menu dive? And it wasn't that bad, was it? It was just
just hold the function button, press the button.
And press the button, yeah. But there was a lot. It's all right, yeah. But apart from that, yeah. Continue, Andrew.
So, I was intrigued by this, and I was particularly intrigued because my wife knows nothing about synthesis, which is a good thing, because when I had the ELZ1 Play, I was able to very quickly show her around how you can craft sounds, switch all the effects off, craft the sounds, put envelopes on. It kind of made sense fairly quickly, and she got it and she liked it. She said, oh, that's a nice thing. With the Ambio, she and I were both deeply puzzled at first, and I have to say I have persevered, and I've kind of managed to switch everything off and just start, get rid of all the envelopey stuff so it's just on and off, and play around with the sounds, and I'm just finding it not really... I think it's a good thing for some people, but the amount of menu diving you have to do, it's not intuitive, it's not fast. What I thought it was going to be, it doesn't appear to be, which is a very quick way to put together ambient loops to be able to jam along to. It doesn't feel like that. However, some good things about it that I really do like. I like the voice architecture. I like the way it's creating voices and the oscillators and the way those work. That's a slightly different thing, different way of doing things. I rather like that, but I'm not that blown away with the oscillator sounds, I have to say. But I like the way you can, I like the way you can create stuff. I also really... The sound reminds me, because someone mentioned this in the chat earlier, it reminds me of the Fismo a bit. There is something kind of good about that, but there's not quite enough control for me, because I've tried using it as a non-ambient synth as well, something where you just want control, immediate control over amplitude, envelopes and that kind of stuff. And it doesn't really do that well. The other thing which it does do really well, the noise section, I was able to sample, I can't show you right now, but I was able to sample a thunderstorm, a 16-second loop of thunderstorm, thunder grumbling away, which I then pitched up an octave, which made it an 8-second loop, was able to send it via MIDI into the Ambio, and once it's in there as an 8-second loop, detune it by an octave to get it back to where it was. So I've got a 16-second loop of thunder just grumbling around, and it sounds remarkably good. It's an interesting box, but the amount of menu diving just and I think also the number of effects you have to, you're kind of using the effects almost all the time, and I kind of want to hear it without the effects, and I want it to sound really good without the effects having to be used. And it's all right, but I much prefer the ELZ1 Play. Much prefer it. So I don't think it's going to be living in the Longhurst household for that long, but I'm going to give it a go this weekend. I'm going to take it and the ELZ with me up to Glasgow and see what I can come up with. But
interesting. Because my opinion is mostly opposite.
Really? Go on. I'm really interested.
No. So I'm not using it as a synthesizer where I'm going to try and dig in and manipulate the sounds away. Because the Liven workflow is somewhat frustrating if you're not used to it. But this is probably the easiest of all the Livens. All the 7 that have gone before have progressively gotten better, and this one is probably the least menu divey of any of them, because there's only sort of like maybe 1 or 2 features per button, and once you get that workflow of whether it's a function or a shift to activate that particular thing, this one is really very simple to use. And I found myself very quickly creating my own little ambient soundscapes by using the built-in sounds and maybe tweaking them a little bit. I haven't done much with regards to sampling in there, because there's a lot of stuff that comes with it that's really good, but I really enjoyed it. And I found myself, I created this loop and just kind of left it going, and then I fired up something else and just started playing over the top of it, and it was a nice little kind of accompaniment thing. But who was it who said to me the other day, they said the only problem with the Ambient Zero is as you start going through some of the presets to kind of hear what it does, you start to fall asleep, not because it's boring, because it's so soothing. The sounds that it's making are really quite nice. But no, I really liked it.
Thing was, I found that when I was using the ELZ, because you saw I did an ambient loop thing with that, and it was really easy to do. It fell to it really quickly, and being able to to build the sounds from scratch and do all of that from scratch, and then apply all the sounds sounded really good without any effects applied at all. It's a great sounding thing, and it works really fast. For some reason, the user interface on it speaks more to my more traditional, perhaps, way of engaging and building sounds up than does the Ambient. The Ambient, I'll give it some more time, I think.
Give it a go.
Because
if you think that's complicated, I'll show you like
not
the
complicated.
XFM
No,
lighting.
it's not complicated particularly. I think it's more that it's a pain that the menu diving thing is a pain. It's just you having to and I can get into it, and I got faster and faster at it, but I found it a little painful. And as Kent was saying earlier, there's this thing with menu diving where the time between creative thought and actually being able to get something out, I want that to be as short as possible. And this, I know I can just play the sounds that are in there or the patterns that are in there. This takes a lot more thinking about, and I'm not sure that that's not the thing that's driving me nuts. I could build up ambient patches with this, very similar, without having to think too hard about it, and
Yes,
really, really fast. And with these,
but you're now comparing a £5,000 synthesizer with
I know it's a £300 one.
Yeah.
It's a £300 one. So I'm gonna persevere and see where I get to. And I still haven't connected the two, haven't synced the two together, which is something I do need to do. Which is where I wanted to explore further into just doing normal, ordinary synth sounds. And you can, but it takes a little more, griffling with them. But I'm gonna play. Kent.
Yes.
What did you make of it, if anything at all?
Well, I think it works quite well at what it was designed to do, which is to give you instant atmospheres, basically. So yeah, it's all right. Yeah, there is menu diving to do if you want to start tailoring your own particular kind of ambient sounds, and it can be a bit sort of like buttony, for want of a better word. A bit buttony, yeah. There's a lot of buttonies going on here.
Yes.
But then it's kind of expected of anything that's only that size. There is going to have to be a lot of, shift, zero, stand on one leg, squint.
Honestly, this one is the least like that.
So I understand. Yeah, so I understand, because I know some of the earlier live and stuff was sort of like.
They had overlays and everything.
Yeah.
Have I missed the fact that with the envelope there isn't a decay and sustain? It's just attack is on and then off, and that's it.
Yeah. Which is primarily your meat and potatoes for ambient.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is a very specific. This is not a synthesizer. This does one job.
Yeah.
And that's all you really need.
And it appears to do it quite well.
It does. And what I would suggest is having a watch of this.
I've watched it 3 times.
Oh, there you go.
Because it's stand up.
Add a drone. Add a pad. And play something over the top.
So yeah, I mean, Chris spends over an hour going through all of the aspects of this, and I only sort of got halfway through, and I was away. I was doing my own thing, but he does get into messing around with the sounds themselves, and then into sampling and everything. But it's well worth a look for sure.
It is worth a look. It is worth a look. I think I just need to change the view that I have of it when I'm going in, rather than trying to see it as a synth.
Maybe it's just like an expectation thing. Maybe you're expecting something different than
maybe that's what I was so impressed with the ELZ1. I kind of was expecting similar engines on this, I guess that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Bostish247 says, "Are you getting a popping sound on power up?" Yes. You do get that, and that you get that on all of the Livens. If you're using a Korg Volca PSU, that's exactly what you should be using, or similar Doesn't have to be the official Korg one, but that's amperage and rating is the one they use. Yeah, you just hold the power button, you just get a little pop. That's standard.
Incidentally, the world record for the loudest and most annoying pop from a synth is that Trident I got down in the workshop.
Oh, gosh.
Holy crap, the speaker fell off the shelf.
There's the piano patch. That's what all the
I was
real
waiting for
users.
that to be posted up. Yeah, I know. Listen, I know I'm an old twonk. I know I am. But I want to know what the synth engine... I want to... I'm a bit like like Manny. I want to try and break it first, which is what I've done. And in trying to break it, I found there's not much to break. So I've just got to change the way I view this. And I'll come back again next week.
I wouldn't go so far as to call it a one-trick pony, but it has a very specific use.
Specific job, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hence
And they all
the
have.
name.
That's the thing. Well, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing with all of the live-ins. They each they do a very specific thing. I would like to actually sit down with this and the Texture Lab and clock them together and start, seeing what I can come up with those two. Which kind of brings me on to something to fill the last few minutes.
Yeah.
Because I'm going away on my hollybobs.
Hollybobs.
In a couple of weeks, and I'm thinking, what can I take with me? Because it's just me and the missus, right? And I'm just thinking, what can I... Well, yeah. But what can I take with me musically that might keep me occupied
OP1
at night time in the Alps? Yeah, see, that was my first thought, because it's battery powered and it has its own speakers, and so I can sit on my little balcony with a glass of something red and liquidy and have that echoing around the mountains. But then I thought, what about my Lo-Fi 12 XT? That would be nice.
You not got an OP1?
I haven't got an OP1 though.
Oh, okay then.
No.
How about the your pocket-sized DX1, but you have to wear the special trousers?
The pocket-sized DX1?
Yeah, you have to wear the special trousers, like.
Yeah, me as well.
Oh,
Robbie.
never mind. No. It's pocket-sized, but you have to wear it has fucking huge pockets.
Oh, okay, right. So, sorry, now I get the joke now. Yeah, it's rubbish when you have to explain it, isn't it?
Oh, dear. It's wasted.
Take the medieval something with you.
Oh, but I haven't got one of those.
Yeah.
I haven't got one of those. But that would be a nice one, except it's not battery powered. Now, I do have a USB power pack that I could power this from, but it's another little box. But that might be an interesting one, because that's like an all-in-one. I've got loads of sample libraries on the SD card. Ah, shit.
I like it. Yeah, take this in Clavia Regen and learn how to use it.
Learn how to fucking use it. Yeah. If I had the Budum Tish, I would do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you,
actually, I think maybe the black box might be an interesting one to take.
Take the DX1 with you.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd like to take? I'd like
What,
to take
mate?
Polybrute.
Chop liver. Thanks sake, you've already done that one.
I'll take you with me. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, what could I take? But anyway, so answers on a postcard. Take the 1010 and the KX88, says Prometheus. Yeah. Try licking. You might find crates become easier. Oh, who knows? Indeed. Anyway, I think we've made it quite safely.
I think the button's on that taste of misery.
Do you know what? I'm just going to build a bunch more presets. I'm just going to build loads of presets for this. That's what I'm going to do. I've set myself a task now, so that there's more for people, and I'll share them on the Patreon thing, just so that people. Because I think that's what it's missing.
When I went on holiday,
a bunch more presets.
When I went on holiday,
to travel with you.
Yes.
I took a VL tone. Shows you how long ago that was.
I've got one. I could take one of those.
You could sing Dada for a week, couldn't you?
First time I took a portable thing was a QY22, a little Yamaha. It was a great thing. It was a great thing. Well, it wasn't a great thing, but it seemed a great thing at the time. So, yeah. Let us know what you do take.
Yes.
That will be really interesting.
Yeah.
I will. So, let me just... What's the date today? Oh, yes, okay. Right, so... that brings us to the end of the show. Talking about Andy's ELZ1 play videos, the 2 demos that he did, the ambient demo and the outdoor playing with himself demo, they are available on our YouTube channel for you to go and watch. However, the unboxing video, which is the much longer, detailed video, is currently only available to our Patreon members and to our YouTube members until the 25th of August. So that's a week on Sunday. So you get that exclusively if you are a subscriber. And then from around, I think, noon on the 25th of August, the restrictions are lifted and anybody can watch it on YouTube. So that's all set up to go. But if you are a subscriber, you have some exclusivity going on there, and you can go and watch that. Gentlemen, that's it. That's a show. We've managed to get it through. I don't know.
We always do, don't we?
2 weeks. I know. It's. I never cease to amaze myself in the fact we get through this, and we still hold on to all the viewers, and our subscriber numbers keep going up. It's great stuff. Don't forget that Ramsey's on tomorrow. Andy Synchrotron, I'm assuming, is doing a stream at 10 a.m.
Oh, now Tom turns up. We berated it, mate.
Yeah, no, we
absolutely hated every
voice.
resistor, IC,
skip back
screw.
Yeah.
Anyway, why are you building a synth with only 4 volts? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's not enough to drive an oscillator properly, is it? Eh?
Welcome, Tom. It's great to have you here. No, we ran out of Kleenex, basically. We talked about it at the top of the show because it's the best thing ever. Ian fell asleep. I suppose
I knocked one out.
Ian fell asleep, but I suppose he's been away doing lots of hard
with
work
the fairies.
Yeah, well, that's true. So yes, ELZ1 videos. That's that. Andy Synchrotron doing his stream at 10. But then we've got Ramsey, 2 p.m. UK time. Jamie said he was going to do a show, but he might do it next week instead, and I think that's just kind of because of what's happened over this week. He might just put it off, but check him out. Go and subscribe to GeoSynths, and then you'll know when he puts a show up because you'll get notified. It's kind of the way it works. And then there'll be Nick on Wednesday, although I'm not sure if Nick's on holiday.
I can work the pub around that.
Yeah, cool, excellent stuff.
You know how flexible the pub is.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The pub that you weren't going to do again,
which he's now doing.
Well, I didn't think I was going to do again. There is a difference,
and I'm very glad that you are.
Oh, and of course, yes.
So a lot of people were.
Henrik is doing a senior synth stream, I believe, tomorrow night.
Yes, he is.
So there you go.
Oh, you won't be doing a pub tomorrow night then?
Your weekends are full. Plenty of stuff to do and go around. And we will see you same time, same place next week. We'll see what happens. That'll be my last show for a couple of weeks as I take some time off. I'll leave you in these gentlemen's capable hands.
God help you.
So, brace yourselves. Mr. Metlame, if you want to come and join them, feel free. And I'm sure you'll spend half the time just talking about your bloody book, which is available to order right now and is in print and coming out in hopefully a few weeks' time. I'll be back next week.
Possibly
with everyone.
Mr. Brooks as well at some point.
Yeah, we could get Andy on.
Yeah.
Indeed. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. Take the greatest of care, and I hope you have a fine and fantastic weekend, whatever you're doing. I'm doing some proper synth nerding at the weekend. Maybe tell you about that next week if I can. Really looking forward to it, and I will see you all, along with these gentlemen, same time, same place next week. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have fun. Au revoir.
Take care of yourselves.